What's a celebrity without the occasional show of luxury? That's right, in today's world it's almost like they're inseparable. Starring in so many A-list roles and packing tons of cash from it, Hollywood star Orlando Bloom is living a life many would dream of. Over the years, he has amassed a worthy timepiece collection of over 40 luxury timepieces, with a famous interest in vintage Rolex models with rare references. However, did you know his crown collection is widely known for infamous reasons? In today's video, let's find out precisely why and how he smartly turned things around. Close your eyes and think about the worst thing that could happen to your prized watch collection. Did you perhaps imagine it being snatched away from you forever, with your money and affection getting lost with it? Don't despair, you're not the only one who feels that way. With Rolex timepieces getting some of the best offers on the resale market due to their ability to hold value so well, it became one of the prime targets for malicious thieves. With Orlando Bloom being a firm lover of rare vintage Rolex models, he caught the eye of watch lovers time and again, and with them, the bad guys. In 2009, his watch collection got primetime limelight, but not for good reasons. It was the year he became a victim of the notorious gang of thieves called the Bling Ring. You probably think they'd be a group of dangerous-looking individuals who maliciously target their prey, right? Well, far from it. This infamous gang of thieves was a group of teenagers that spent 10 months from 2008 to 2009 robbing around 50 houses. Apart from Orlando Bloom, did you know that they've also stolen from the homes of A-list celebrities like Megan Fox, Paris Hilton, and Lindsay Lohan? Yep, they were that devious. About 10 watches were stolen from Bloom's collection, including pieces from other brands. The total value of the stolen watches exceeded the $300,000 mark at the time and has easily skyrocketed since. Thankfully though, the criminals were later apprehended, with Bloom's prized trinkets returned to his abode. Curious about how Bloom got back his watches? We'll tell you later on, but for now let's take a look at some of these fascinating Rolex timepieces that could have been lost forever. Let's start with Bloom's GMT Master Reference 1675 from 1972. With a rich history that goes back to 1954, when Pan Am Airlines asked Rolex to make a watch that could track several time zones for their pilots to complete transatlantic flights. In response, Rolex made the GMT Master, a watch perfect for pilots. A piece that 60 years later, with several tweaks, became one of the most popular Rolex models for enthusiasts. The watch is 13mm thick with a diameter of 40mm, a size not a lot of people would shy away from given contemporary trends. But one of the standout features of this timepiece is the aluminium bidirectional bezel. Even pictures won't be able to do justice to its beauty. After wearing this watch, you'd be hard-pressed not to get dazzled by its iconic Pepsi blue and red bezel. Another noteworthy feature of the GMT Master 1675 is its beautiful and highly legible matte dial that doesn't reflect any light it might catch. Fun fact, did you know this was powered by two different automatic mechanical movements throughout its production? The Rolex GMT Master 1675 timepieces produced from 1959 through to 64 made use of the Rolex caliber 1565 movement that beats at a frequency of 18,000 beats per hour, with a power reserve of 44 hours. As for the watches made after 1964, they were powered by the caliber 1575 movement, which was a slightly improved power reserve of 48 hours and a frequency of 19,800 beats per hour. The second watch we will be talking about is the rare Rolex Explorer 2 1655, also known as the Steve McQueen Explorer. Within the hearts of watch enthusiasts, there is a growing feeling that with the right price, there's a Rolex for everyone. While the GMT series was made for the skies, the Submariner handled the seas. For everything in between, we still have the Explorer. This particular Rolex Explorer in Bloom's collection was produced between 1971 and 1984. At the time, though, it was far from being a fan favourite. To start with, the years of production just so happened to coincide with a period when no one seemed to stop drooling over quartz watches. They simply dominated the watch world at the time. Mechanical watches, on the other hand, were merely second fiddle. Another reason why this model wasn't so popular at the time was that Rolex pitched this watch at a very specific market segment. The Explorer series were for scientific adventurers into volcanoes, caves, and the like. Don't take this to mean the model doesn't have its fans though. There are so many good things about it. The 1655 features a fixed 24-hour bezel with a unique dial and an iconic orange hand second time zone indicator. Taking its movement architecture from a reference 1675 GMT Master, this timepiece feels like a Submariner on the wrists while working like a GMT Master. And if that wasn't enough, it has a unique look. Speaking of movement, it is powered by the 26 dual caliber 1575 movement that beats at 19,800 beats per hour with a power reserve of 48 hours. How familiar are you with the Milgauss 6543? Widely recognised as the first ever Milgauss, this iconic timepiece was released in the mid-1950s, a time when Rolex was experimenting with a range of new era sports and professional watches. Do you remember what we said about Rolex watches being for everyone? While the Submariner is for the seas and the Explorer for adventurers on land, the Milgauss is recognised as a scientist's watch. Originally, the Rolex Milgauss was created for scientists who work in conditions of high electromagnetic fields. Scientists at CERN even confirmed the watch could easily continue its timekeeping role despite being exposed to magnetic fields of up to 1,000 Gauss. As a matter of fact, that's where the watch gets its name from. While mil signifies the number 1000, Gauss represents the units of the strength of magnetic fields. The 6543 comes with a 38mm steel case with a rather unusual lug width of 19.5mm. It's also accompanied by a bidirectional rotating bezel marked with unique Submariner-like fonts. In addition, the timepiece possesses a black honeycomb dial with luminous center hands. Finally, for its movement, the Rolex Milgauss with the 6543 references is powered by a unique self-winding caliber 1080, a standard movement for the brand at the time. Here's a fun fact about it. The reference 1080 caliber was modified from the base caliber 1030. In all, the 6543 is a mystery timepiece. Given how it is so hard to find, a lot of enthusiasts and collectors have never set their eyes on it in person. It'd have to be a shame if Orlando Bloom's Milgauss got lost forever in an instant. Yet another rare timepiece in Bloom's collection is the Rolex Submariner 6538. Starring in several James Bond movies on the wrists of both Sean Connery and Roger Moore, the Submariner remains one of the most iconic timepieces throughout pop culture and the world of luxury watches. However, within the line, the 6538 is a true vintage timepiece. It is incredibly difficult to find. One of the most recognisable and dare to say iconic features of this timepiece is its oversized crown and lack of crown guards. Whether you find this feature annoying or not, it easily distinguishes the 3538 from other members of the Submariner family. It's worth adding that the 6538 also uses the caliber 1030 nickel-finished lever 25 joules movement. The glossy dial is either black or brown, featuring luminous dots, battens, and dagger markers. Even the Mercedes hands are luminous. To top it up, did you know the case and the dial of the 6538 feature a revolving black bezel calibrated for 60 units? Despite the model being recognised as the true Bond Submariner, given it was the first model the British spy wore when he set about to stop Dr. No's plans for world domination, this watch is more than a mere movie prop. Like the Submariners that came before and after it, the 6538 also represents everything divers or other water adventurers need for a companion. Thanks to its 38mm tonneau-shaped oyster case with a screw back and large screw-down crown, the timepiece can resist water pressures to depths of up to an exhilarating 1,000 feet or 300 meters, depending on the measurement unit. As expected, the Submariner 6538 is one of the most sought-after Rolex references and thus demands crazy sums whenever it occasionally appears on the auction books. Did you know this same Submariner reference with a Tiffany signature got sold for $284,500 in 2012? If you think that was stunning, wait till you hear what's next. In 2013, a rare version of the 6538 with the sultry tropical dial with 4 lines of text got sold for $544,939 at an auction. So, back to the burning question. How exactly did Orlando Bloom track down his stolen possessions? It all started when the thespian happened to hear from a dealer that one of the watches he bought was originally his. Stunned by the news, he picked up his tinfoil hat and went into full investigative mode. Receiving a helpful tip that some of his timepieces might be on the underground market, Bloom followed up the lead alone, leading him to the actual pawn shop where they were. After consulting with a private investigator, he took things into his own hands by going alone, getting 5 out of the 10 stolen watches from his collection. Taking all of his timepieces from Rolex and other brands into consideration, Orlando Bloom is said to own over 40 luxury watches. With a golden heart, though, he auctioned off some of his watches, giving the proceeds to UNICEF.